Hello. The major arcana we're talking about today is the Hermit, the card that follows the Justice or Adjustment card. The Hermit is a card about inner light, about looking for inner light within oneself, going deep into one's inner darkness to find inner light. If you take a look at the image that we're using here, there we are, you'll see that the Hermit is a pilgrim. He's walking along down a path where there's a flow of water, and there's the symbol of the light, which is his own lamp that he is carrying, the Hermit's lamp. Reflected, you see the symbol of Saturn. At his feet, there's a many-headed serpent, but he doesn't seem particularly concerned. He has a wand and he has a key around his neck, and he's stepping boldly into that darkness, guided by that little lamp he has. So the tone of this card is a tone of darkness visible, of being able to just start to go into the depth of yourself with this little light, the light of the adept that you have now. Trusting that you have that sufficiently brightly that you will be able to see at least the path that's right in front of you, and to begin this hard path that carries through in the tarot with a few stepping stones along the way, from the Hermit all the way to the Sun. So the Hermit can't really see very clearly what's around him, but he has this light that is the light that comes from within himself. He's the very power of that light. Someone who's at the Hermit stage of spiritual development is more or less in that situation. They can't yet see with real clarity, but they do have now a certain framework, a certain guide, because they found that inner balance, and they've made that adjustment that the Justice card represents. That adjustment has provided them with a kind of key, and with that key, the Hermit now must dare to open the door to his inner self and begin that trek into the underworld, to go down within. That's the symbolism of the Saturnian image on this card. Saturn is the planet that astrologically corresponds to death and the realm of the dead, and the Hermit is going within one's inner self, seeking the mystery of death. He seeks it because he wants to overcome it. There's a connection between the Hermit and the story of Demeter, for example. So he's seeking into the underworld to go and rescue someone, his beloved, you could say, but it's really to rescue oneself from the state of death. And although in this card that we're using, you see a multi-headed serpent that is at the beginning of this underworld path, what in other decks you sometimes see is Cerberus, the three-headed dog that guards the entrance to the underworld. And you can see here, there's the reflection of the moon. The moon will be the Hermit's ultimate destination. It represents that state of awakening. Right now, he can see it reflected under the water. He still can't see it ahead of him. That'll come much later. So the Hermit is a retreating within, and it means having to face your fear, having to face also the temptation of ceasing in your travel out of that fear. A lot of people get right to the gate of the underworld and they stop right there and they say, well, I'm seeking, I'm on this path. But actually their fear stops them from going through the door. They just kind of camp out at the base there. Now, if you've gotten to the stage of the hermit, you're already prepared with certain very advanced tools. You have that inner light, that vision of the holy guardian angel that you've received in that first third of the major arcana. You have the key that lets you into this inner world, which is the symbol from the adjustment, from the justice card. You have your staff, which is the force of your own will. And all of this, plus your ability to trust your experience, should be able to lead you down the right path. So the hermit is a card of overcoming one's fear and beginning the difficult journey, even though you're resistant to it, you feel afraid of it. And one thing about the hermit is that the hermit is always moving. Once you start on this path, you have to keep going forward. You can't stop, you can't languish, you can't stagnate. This fear is founded in a certain way in that, first of all, you're looking into this darkness within yourself. You're going to end up confronting death. And when you begin this path, one concern that creates this fear is the possibility that you will not make it to the other side, that you will be destroyed. And it's a very credible fear. So it's understandable why you would have this. And also there's this fear of having to leave behind the things that protected you before. There are these three jewels, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. And in a way, when you step into the hermit, you're going into this inner retreat, and you end up having to step away from those three jewels. You have the keys that they have given to you, but during this inner quest, it's something that only you can do. You have to go it alone. You cannot be doing this as part of a community. You can't do this as part of the student of a teacher. You can't expect someone else to come along and rescue you. This is something you have to obtain for yourself. Eventually, once you've found that light, you will be able to return to the three jewels, now in a more mature kind of way. But at the moment, it seems scary because you're being forced to move past the things that you were comfortable with working with before. And more so, you have to look deeper into yourself, into the very depths of your most primal fears, of your most primal issues. Because that's where the mystery of death lies, the mystery of suffering. And that's where enlightenment's going to end up being found. So how does the hermit do this? Well, the hermit has to rely primarily on certainty. He can't count on belief. He can't even count on faith. He has to trust what his experiences are. And he can't count on knowledge either, because once you go into that inner world, what you know in the outer world, it's not going to save you from this. It's not something that's going to be relevant there. This is a path that takes you to this depth, to this deepness, that is beyond intellectual knowing. And it is beyond belief, and it is beyond faith. It depends only on certainty. That's why the only things you can take in there aren't things that other people have. Not even your guru, not even your spiritual teacher, not even your spiritual community. You can only take the things that you have earned into there. So you can't step into this inner path, this deeper search to the depths, until you have these tools, that you're prepared for it. And once you do have those, well, then you know, because you have a certainty that with these tools at least, you have the chance to make it into this depth. You need to first have your lamp, and then it can light your way.